All eyes on Doge. Big run up to the moon. Whew. Doge still going up. All eyes on Doge. Still big run up to the moon. Keep going up. Going up. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin. Up. Movement in Doge. Dogecoin. Up. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin. Up. Movement in Doge. Dogecoin. 42.69. All eyes on Doge. Dogecoin.
Hey everybody, Kriss here. Welcome on a Wednesday. How's everybody doing? I know it's all eyes on Doge, but today we do have to talk about Bitcoin. Yes, we have to talk about Bitcoin. Big day for Bitcoin, new all-time high for Bitcoin. And then there was this big sell-off here, pushed Bitcoin pretty far down. And now Bitcoin's saying, I'm not done yet. So we could see yet another new all-time high for Bitcoin live on this stream. So we will be watching for that. Yes, Mr. T, will we hit 110? Will we hit 110? We will be watching that. A lot to cover today. Big day for cryptocurrency. Stock markets are down. Crypto is up. That's right. All this talk about bond fears and all this other mumbo jumbo money stuff. And Bitcoin's like, I'm going to an all-time high today. So we have that and Doge stuff to talk about, as well as other crypto stuff. What's on your mind? We will get to that as well as we start here. Bitcoin, you know, this morning, Bitcoin was hanging out here at about 106, 106.5. And all of a sudden, when the stock market opened, Bitcoin said, I'm going to go for a little run today. And Bitcoin went up to 107, and it went up to 108, and then it went up to 109. Its previous all-time high was like 109.5, let's say, which Bitcoin hit. And then once Bitcoin hit that 105 right there, new all-time high, there was a retrace, came down to about 108.3, and then came back and hit another new all-time high. And we'll just call it 109.8. 109.8, not quite 110, but close, Mr. T, close. 109.8 is the new all-time high for Bitcoin. And then the dump happened. Now, the dump could be linked to a number of things. I'll show you one theory that somebody had, why Bitcoin dumped on the backs of a big retrace on the stocks at the same time. And Bitcoin came all the way down to 106.2, but now is up to 108.6. That's right, back up to 108.6, making a second run. And we will see whether Bitcoin hits a new all-time high this afternoon. What happened with Doge? Well, Doge was hanging out this morning here at about 22.5. And then following Bitcoin, Doge went on a run, went over 23 and came up to about 23.4. So this little red circle right there means I did something. Yes, I told you guys I wasn't going to do it. I told you guys I wasn't going to do it. But I did it with just a little part of my portfolio. A swing trade. Yes, a swing trade with Doge. I sold some Doge just to see if I could accumulate a little more. Not my whole bag of Doge. No, just a small little piece of it, just to play the game, because I thought Bitcoin was going to retrace. I thought the market makers were going to take over and they were going to dump the price to wipe out a bunch of leverage longs, which they did a little bit, but there may be more to come. Now, when I sold, Doge was about 23.3, dipped to 23, and then moved all the way up to 23.7, 23.8. And I was just like, oh, I missed that, didn't I? I missed that one. But then Doge followed Bitcoin as it dumped all the way down to 22.2. I was tempted to buy back in, but I was like, nope, I think we're going to go down to at least 21.9. That's what I had targeted, and we're not there yet. But that could still happen. There still could be a bigger dip coming, and I'm just going to be patient with that. But now I've got some buying power. I've got some buying power now. But I had to sell some Doge to have the buying. I know. We'll see how that goes, though. But that's what I did with Doge. ETH also was already trading pretty well and was up to 26.20. And then it dumped and now just recovered back over 2,500. But there were a lot of people talking about ETH having a big run today, and it didn't happen. So ETH is still in the red right now. Bitcoin's up 1.6%. Doge is up 1.7, almost 1.8%. Again, on the day, Dogecoin is outperforming Bitcoin while Bitcoin hit an all-time high. Go figure, right? Go figure. Dogecoin outperforming Bitcoin on a day when Bitcoin hits an all-time high. You can't make this stuff up. It's just, that's just the way it is. So we'll be watching these. We start with Bitcoin makes a new all-time high. Ethereum, XRP, Dogecoin follow higher. For those wondering about XRP, yes, XRP did go up here to about $2.42, dumped down to $2.33, now at about $2.38. That is the state of XRP right now. Just to log it, that's what it did. Global cryptocurrency market cap climbed to $3.38 trillion. Crypto markets holding strong. Bitcoin briefly hitting new all-time highs amid strong institutional interest, robust ETF inflows. That is the state of Bitcoin now, which we have been covering. It's the banks, it's the institutions, it's the big companies, the ETFs. That is what is driving the Bitcoin price. Retail is not here. Retail's not here. So all those people saying, oh, why is Dogecoin so low? Bitcoin's hitting an all-time high. Well, retail isn't here yet. Will retail come? We will. We'll talk about that. Into the block data shows large transaction volume increasing by 10%. Daily active addresses grew by 5.5%. Transactions greater than $100,000 are up big time. Big traders are entering. Not the little guys, not the retail, it's the big traders. That is what has been driving Bitcoin. That is what has been the narrative for this bull market, has been Bitcoin. So, the Coinbase letter says what just happened, and this was this afternoon. At 1:00 p.m., the S&P 500 fell nearly 80 points in 30 minutes without any major news. What actually happened was a weak 20-year bond auction. A weak 20-year bond auction, which sent U.S. Treasury yields soaring. Investors must watch yields here. So there was a big dump in the S&P 500. Now, why should Bitcoin drop? And why should the rest of crypto drop when there's a weak 20-year bond auction? It's got nothing to do with bonds, because we know, right? We didn't buy bonds, right? There's no bonds here. We bought Dogecoin and maybe some Bitcoin and maybe some ETH and some other cryptos, yes. But bonds, no, we didn't buy bonds. But yet, it can still affect the crypto market because of the interrelationship of the markets overall and the market sentiment. If the stock market is dumping, most likely you're going to see Bitcoin, Doge, and others going down as well because of the overall market sentiment when something like that happens. Although you would think it should be the opposite. But that is the world we live in now. As I've been saying, Bitcoin is not what Satoshi envisioned anymore. It is now controlled by the banks, the institutions, the large companies. The little guy is just getting squeezed out of Bitcoin. It's the big major movers. So what does that leave? That leaves Dogecoin for us, right? Coin Bureau says, look, now that Bitcoin is broken through all-time high, are you making any portfolio adjustments? Are you making any portfolio adjustments? Bitcoin just hit a new all-time high, so you could sell your Bitcoin, right? And rotate into an alt or something, maybe? I don't know. The Alva app, my favorite Alva AI, that recognized when I called it out that it made a mistake, and it did, and it recognized it, like, oops, yeah. The Alva app says momentum stays bullish after the recent breakout. Influencers, ETF inflows amplifying positive sentiment. Institutions are clearly piling in, fueling confidence across the board. We're seeing whales and retail alike rotate capital into Bitcoin. That's right. Rotating capital into Bitcoin, not selling Bitcoin for alts. That is not happening. Very, very interesting. Meanwhile, open interest in futures is climbing. Leveraged conviction, possible push higher, but short-term caution lingers due to potential volatility, which of course we had during that dump today. A lot of leveraged traders got wiped out again. We can look at the heat maps in a little bit. We'll take a look at those and see where those things are. Meanwhile, on Bitcoin, we do have, and I'll zoom out a little bit, we do have this one trade here, which is this 10,000 Bitcoin, a trade made on Hyperliquid at about 103,800. That is their liquidation point right there, 103.8. So I've marked that on my Bitcoin chart. Wondering whether Bitcoin is going to make a nosedive down there. So Hyperliquid, though, that's not like the big exchange like Binance and OKX and those big. And I don't know what their relationship is with the market makers that run Binance and OKX and those other big exchanges. But I've marked it anyway as a possible target here for Bitcoin, down to 103,800 as a possible target for a dip. And if that goes down there, then Doge could come down again below 22 cents, maybe to like 21.5 again, which is where we were 2 days ago, 21.5. So that could still be in the cards. Right now, we have a day where we do have increased volume of trading. Volume is up, certainly with the excitement of Bitcoin coming up to a new all-time high. Lots of trading going on. So that's kind of the big picture right now with Bitcoin and Dogecoin. But here's the thing. And this is the thing, guys. This is Nagato. Now, people complain to me all the time. It's like, oh, Bitcoin's so much better. If someone had told me a couple of years ago that in 2025, Bitcoin would be trading at almost $110,000, while most altcoins would still be sitting below their 2021 all-time highs, I would have laughed and said, STFU, you're crazy, right? Because there's no way, right, that would happen. But look what has happened. Bitcoin has been getting the banks, the institutions, the big companies, the ETFs, right, all buying Bitcoin. And so Bitcoin has outperformed most alts since the dip in late 2022. That is true. Bitcoin has outperformed most alts. Why? Bitcoin dominance is higher as well. Fast forward to today, that's exactly what's happening. And honestly, it has been an insane cycle so far. Who would have known that Bitcoin would then get handed over to the big banks and the institutions? Congratulations to everyone who predicted this, though. The Bitcoin maxis are all like, woo-hoo-hoo. And I will be there right in the midst of them next week at the Bitcoin conference. The Bitcoin conference, I will be there. And the Bitcoin maxis are all going to be celebrating, patting each other on the back because the banks and the institutions, governments are buying Bitcoin. Not what Satoshi wanted, but that is what has happened. Money is involved. The big whales, the institutions are going to want a piece of that pie. That is what has happened over the past 3 years. So if you bought a lot of Bitcoin back then, you got rewarded big time. Now, there's some alts go on big runs and then retrace, and you could have played that game with Pepe or Whiff or Bonk or one of those and made some money if you got in and out at the right times. All of that is possible. And even with Doge, I mean, Doge went up 300% in November alone last year, remember? So there is that game that can still be played. But overall, over 3 years, Bitcoin has outperformed most alts, and that's shown clearly on the Bitcoin dominance chart. But now, Nagato says, let me tell you something. Over the past few weeks, I've noticed something alarming. People are giving up on altcoins and FOMOing into Bitcoin at these prices. That's right. People are disillusioned with the alts, and they're like, I need to buy Bitcoin. In fact, on Tom Crown's live stream, if you guys were watching it earlier today, he was on for quite a while, and I watched a bit during the noon hour. Bitcoin had just hit an all-time high. And this girl sends a super chat and says, Tom, I've been watching Bitcoin for a while. Should I buy now or wait for a dip? And I was just like, should I buy now or wait for a dip? And Tom was like, we've had dips for the last 2 months. There's been plenty of dips. And you're asking me today, when Bitcoin is at an all-time high, whether now is the time to buy in? Now, there was someone in the chat who did say buying Bitcoin at 109,000 today is going to look pretty smart like 6 months from now when Bitcoin's at like 150,000 or something, right? Maybe that's true. But at the same time, it's like you've had all this time to buy, and now today you're like, should I buy at the all-time high? Nagato says, in my opinion, that's kind of reckless. Don't get me wrong. I still believe Bitcoin will go higher from here. And if you believe in its future potential as a store of wealth, I'm sure you'll be fine. Again, Bitcoin, store of value, store of wealth, no longer a decentralized currency. Nobody's spending their Bitcoin, right? They're hoarding it. They're savoring it, right? However, if your goal is to maximize your ROI or return on investment in 2025, the risk reward for buying Bitcoin now is far from optimal. You want to maximize your return on investment now. Like, what's the real upside left in this cycle? Maybe a 2x if we're being generous. Will Bitcoin go to 200K from here? Maybe to 220. That would be a 2x from now, or 218, we'll call it. That's a 2x. Dogecoin's now at like 23 cents. If Dogecoin does a 2x, where is it going to be? 46 cents. Are you happy with 46-cent Dogecoin? $200,000 Bitcoin is going to be like, everyone's going to be like, oh, look at Bitcoin. But Doge at 46 cents, we're kind of like, we were just there in December. It's like not a big deal. The expectations would be higher. As Nagato says, the real money in the remaining window of this cycle will be made on altcoins. Have you seen most alt charts? The majority of them are still much closer to their all-time lows than their previous highs. From a risk-reward perspective, especially with Bitcoin dominance this high and sentiment this low, the alts look insanely attractive. If you've been paying attention, you'd know what's mainstream now. The same old story at the exact point in macro cycles. We saw it back in 2021. Same thing happened before Doge went on its big run, early February 2021. Alt season won't come. This is a new paradigm. Only Bitcoin goes up. Institutional demand, etc., etc., etc. When you start hearing that on repeat, you usually want to start moving in the opposite direction. Now we're getting closer and closer to that moment. If you've been holding alts through the pain of the last couple of years, now is the worst time to give up on them. Imagine leaving right before things start get interesting. Hey, and he recognizes it too. Bonus point for the Bitcoin maxis. If you're fully into Bitcoin 9, or if you're fully into Bitcoin until now, well done, you nailed it. But as I said above, if you want to make the most of the remaining part of this cycle, you might actually want to start scaling out from Bitcoin, maybe reducing some of your exposure, and rotate into solid alts. Bitcoin dominance probably won't stay this high forever. We've already seen early signs. Look how aggressively ETH moved in recent weeks. When altcoins start moving, what happens? They effing move. They effing move. They steal the show. And he ends by saying, better be ready. I was like, wow, there's a great post right there. That pretty much sums up what I've been thinking, and I've been saying some of these things, but wow. That's pretty awesome. So Bitcoin just set an all-time high price, but Dogecoin is up even more. That's right. Even with Bitcoin hitting a new all-time high, Dogecoin is up more. That's how Doge goes. In a green market, Dogecoin outperforms Bitcoin. I know Dogecoin got crushed from December to April. We all know it. We've lived through it. But from here, do you want to sell your Dogecoin into Bitcoin? Are investors flooding back into the altcoin market? Yeah, kind of. Not full-blown alt season. And I don't know if we're going to see it this summer or not. I think we'll see some little moves, but a big one, we'll see. We'll see. Dogecoin surges, short sellers face heavy liquidations. That's right. With the big move up, we had a bunch of shorts liquidated. We'll look at the heat maps. And this guy, Holistic Doge, he's just like, that's effing it. Bitcoin, new all-time high. Dogecoin next? Dogecoin to the moon. So, all right. Bitcoin had its day. Congratulations. Congratulations, Bitcoin, and all the Bitcoin maxis. Woohoo. All right. All right. Congratulations, Bitcoin. What's next? Now, what's next? Trader Tardigrade says has got a new pretty picture. It's like the stochastic RSI is in a strong uptrend. Could we see that big move up to 52 cents? 52 cents? That would be the next big move. Is it going to happen around the beginning of June? Hey, I'm looking for a dip on June 1st, but whew, that would be a big move. That's where Trader Allen is. What is going to move Dogecoin now? We've talked about the House of Doge. We've talked about X and Elon and X payments. Again, as I've been saying for a year now, or almost a year, it'll probably be the fall of 2025 before X money payment starts. And Dogecoin won't be on it. So don't get all upset again. Oh, where's Dogecoin? It's not going to be on it when it starts. But that doesn't mean Dogecoin can't rip a little bit. Just with the thought of X money is now live and Doge is going to come on at some point in time. Remember, the thought of something happening, the chance of something happening in the future, typically Dogecoin does better on that than the actual thing, right? It's the hype, right, that gets Dogecoin pumped up. But it's the ETFs, guys. It's the ETFs. As James Seifert says, I wouldn't expect to see them until late June or early July at the absolute earliest, but more likely to be in early fourth quarter. Almost all these filings have final due dates in October. As I've been telling you guys, October, the SEC typically takes the full time to respond to a 19B-4 filing. Almost all these filings have final due dates in October. Early decisions on that kind of action would be out of the norm, no matter how crypto-friendly this new SEC is. No conspiracy here. The SEC isn't delaying, right? And it's not punting. It's just, this is the process. Again, I've been talking about this for months now. You got to let the process play out. When the ETFs happen, So that's what we've got today. Bitcoin hanging at 1082. Doge is now just under 23 cents. That's where we are. We can look at other alts if you want. We can look at the heat maps if you want. But I'm going to catch up with you guys in the chat now because, Pike, long time no see. How's it been? Hey, life is good here. Welcome back. How you been, man? How have you been? Max says, sell all your crypto and buy Doge. That is financial advice. Bitcoin's okay. Bitcoin's okay. DC Bundles in the house. Welcome. I'm having a good day. Got a little active swing trade going on right now with Doge. So we'll see how that plays out. Everyone liked the stream. Thank you. Khan has a short open on Bitcoin from 1092. Yeah, right now, Bitcoin is not looking like it's going to take out those 109 shorts. So I think you're going to be okay. I'd like to hear what your target is, though. One Doge does equal one Doge. That is correct. I know, isn't that crazy, Adam? ETH is still down on the day after all of that. ETH is still in the red on the day. Very disappointing for ETH. Bitcoin's up 1.3, Doge is up 1.5. Again, Dogecoin outperforming Bitcoin on a day that Bitcoin hits an all-time high. Orbison, you took profits on stocks. Where should I put it? There are some tasty dips here and there. I can't tell you what to do. But I do point out, buying on the big red candles, not the green. You don't FOMO in at an all-time high like on Bitcoin at 109.5, and you don't buy there. You wait for the red candles and you buy on the dips. That is financial advice. You sell on the green candles, you buy on the red candles. Bitcoin needs a 40% pump from here for alts to get any sort of pump. Interesting. You think that now Bitcoin has hit a new all-time high, that maybe some of that rotation to alts might not have already started? So, yeah, our Doge was much higher the last time Bitcoin was 109. And we saw how Doge got killed over those 4 months. Yes, that is all true. Bruce, having a blast down in Miami. You're up to 4 rings now. Weather Girl found one too. You're competitive, winning, but hey, glad to know those metal detectors are working out for you. Finding rings. Yeah, exactly. Your friend texts you if he should buy XRP after it's already gone up 300%. It's like, dude, you're asking me now? Should I buy now? People still accuse me of telling them to buy Dogecoin back in November when Dogecoin was over 40 cents. And I'm just like, no, I didn't say that. I was actually taking profits then. I was taking profits then. How was I telling people to buy when I was taking profits? We had that whole discussion end of November about how to take profits, and I was going to be scaling out and doing these by levels. And new all-time high will come this evening for Bitcoin, Maul says. Thinks Bitcoin is going to go on another run tonight. Maybe the Asian market is going to pump it. We'll see. I know, Christoph, we should have just bought bonds, right? Duh. Yeah, what happened to Zach? And mark my words, exactly. The end of the bull cycle, the influencers are getting subs. Hey, we still got to get another 6 months to go, in my opinion. So I'm going to enjoy it. If you guys want to subscribe and add to my big sub count, please do. And make sure you hit that notification bell too, because people complain, I didn't get notified when your live stream started. And I was just like, did you hit the little bell? Did you hit the little bell? A Bitcoin reserve bill got approved in Texas. The bill now goes to the governor's desk, and the governor is probably going to sign it. So Texas will be the first one. Your notifications aren't working, Mr. T, so you've just set yourself a daily event reminder. That's a good way to do it. Are you sure you hit the little bell, though? I mean, you subscribed, but I know YouTube just sometimes the notifications just don't get set. I know that. Yeah, I haven't heard from Greg or Raiden. I don't know where they are. It would be a great time for Elon to say something about Dogecoin, wouldn't it? Once he gets out of the Department of Government Efficiency and goes back and just doing his thing he was doing before, maybe. Con doesn't think we get a sustained rally above the all-time high. We need a catalyst like we saw in 2024. I know that whole Trump winning the US presidency with Elon and Doge and all the hype around that. That's why Dogecoin went up to 48 cents. And maybe that was it for this bull cycle. And we're not going to get back to that level. That could be. Maul says not selling Bitcoin yet. Think we'll go on another little run there. Maybe. And maybe, yeah, tomorrow's golden cross that Bitcoin is going to have. We'll get a drop. The alts, a bloodbath? No, I don't see a bloodbath. 10 to 15%. Even if alts went down 20%, it's just. But let's see where that golden cross is looking, guys. This is on the daily. And this is the 50 and the 200. And there it is right there. About to hit. So tomorrow, that blue line, the 50-day moving average, is going to cross above the white line, which is the 200-day moving average. And that will be the golden cross. And it's happening tomorrow. Is that going to trigger a big drop? I think it's just a coincidence if that happens. I don't think anyone's trading on golden crosses versus death crosses. It just is what it is, in my opinion. But the Bitcoin chart does look good, especially since we had the death cross back here on April 6th, and Bitcoin was at a price of $78,000. Since the death cross, Bitcoin has actually gone up 38%. So much for a death cross, right? Oh, it's going to fall. Nope. Nope. How's the Dogecoin looking on the daily chart? Kind of weak, still in the big bull flag. Dogecoin is still in the big bull flag. Close to breaking out. You've got some money in Bitcoin too, so you're fine with this. I as well have some money in Bitcoin. I'm fine with it as well. Oh, that is exciting on a vacation, Monica, doing laundry. Maybe your day will be tomorrow. You'll get 3 rings tomorrow. Limitless, maybe buy some altcoins. You did the same, David? Okay to swing trade once in a while? I've got an active trade open now. We will see. Talib thinks Bitcoin is going to retest the top. Matt, this is how most people are. Told a couple people about Dogecoin, but I just mainly keep this stuff to myself to stay humble. You don't want any negative comments. People don't know what they don't know. And plus, what happens if, Doge is 23 cents and they go and buy it and it dumps? And then they're blaming you. And it's just like, you don't need that. If they find it on their own, they find it on their own. We need to get 200 likes on the stream. We don't even have 69 yet, guys. Come on. 69 likes. We can do better than that, guys. Bitcoin hit an all-time high today. And I'm talking about Bitcoin, and you don't like that? I just thought that would be appropriate to talk about today, because that is kind of a big deal in the world of crypto. Bitcoin hitting an all-time high today. Should get some likes out of that. Slam it, Mr. T says. Slam those likes. Congrats to Daddy BTC. That's what I say, Ryan. Golf clap. So I'll do golf claps for Bitcoin. Nice job. Good job, Bitcoin. All right. Where are we going to see Doge to? Well, Ali, $18. Is that going to come back? Is that going to come back? Yep, October 20th is our date. Ryan and Lucifer, keep me on that. October 20th. Has Doge been disappointing? Yes. And I agree that. Shidefu, gotta be very careful pronouncing your name. Shidefu. Doge has been disappointing, yes. I get that. But Doge hasn't had the big catalyst yet for it. So, yep. Thank you, Ziggy. How are you? For some reason, I get an error trying to transfer AVAX from ledger to exchange. Do you happen to know why? Depends on what network you are doing your transfer on. Make sure the exchange you are transferring it to is on an AVAX network or is it on an ETH? You got to check that on both ends. That's probably why you're getting an error message. Is the networks aren't syncing up. Hey, New World, how are you? Leslie, Doge is disappointing at the moment, but I still hodl. Bitcoin dominance hasn't dumped yet. Still believe there will be a pump. Agreed. That's what most people believe as well. What is the magic number for Megal? Bruce asks. Anything under $1.30. It did get down to $1.32 today. Now it's $1.37, so it's getting close. I'm being very patient. I'm targeting about $1.25. Last cycle, $1.05 was able to be bought. I don't know if it's going to get down to $1.05 this time. I say cycle because Megal always goes on these cycles when it goes crazy and then it settles down. And last time, about the lowest you could buy was $1.05 before this last run. So I've never shorted, Ryan. You got to be on one of those exchanges that allow shorting. And I don't trade on those. So plus, why would I want to short? I don't want to short. I want crypto to go up. I don't want it to go down. Now, if it's totally inevitable that it's going down, maybe 2026, let's say, I think that there's going to be a bear market, then I might dip my toes in the shorting kind of thing and try that a little bit, but not now. Because when you short, if you get liquidated, you lose it all. And I don't want to lose it all. Swing trading, that's okay. There's less risk in swing trading than there is shorting. I know there's money to be made on shorting if you time it right, but right now, we don't know what this market's going to do. Bitcoin could just turn around and go to 110, 120, and then Doge will follow it, and then your short gets liquidated. You lose all your coins. Trump token hit $15. My target is 16. The dinner is tomorrow night. Ramon, you're doing NBA bets? I think it was pretty obvious Oklahoma City was going to win, but I don't bet sports anymore. I bet crypto. I bet crypto. JD, there are times when other meme tokens will outperform. However, if you look between, let's say, middle of December to the middle of April, Doge went down 70%. Dog with Hat went down like 92%. So it's all about the timing on those tokens. That's all it is. Forks, proud of Doge, holding up. Thought it'd go down to 21 cents. I know, Top G. Congratulations on your Bitcoin. Get a golf clap. Congratulations. All right. They want you to sell your Doge to buy the shiny new thing. Exactly. And that's how those tokens survive. And they go on their little runs, and you can make money during those runs. You just got to know when to get in and when to get out. Because when it starts going down, that peanut and that whiff are going to drop a lot harder than Doge and everything else. Hey, Nick. I'm no expert, but typically for alts to go on a big run, doesn't Bitcoin need to maintain above the all-time high and enter price discovery? Not sure that 15 minutes and 0.5% above the all-time high meets that criteria. That's a good point there, Nick. Maybe that's what it's going to take. Is Bitcoin to get up to like 115, 120 when it's clearly in price discovery, and then we'll see the alts really pump. Maybe. Indy 500 tickets are all sold out. Wow. Sunday, it's going to be the big race. How will Devlin DeFrancisco do in the Dogecoin car? Hey, Ryan, I'm almost at 20,000 subs. Yes. People in the chat here, if you haven't subscribed yet, I don't often ask, but please sub. I want to get to 20K. 20K is a good number. We're starting to get close now. The first Dogecoin I ever bought was when you sold to buy your house. And you're still holding, Mr. Kittles. Good luck on your Doge. The price will get back up there. Jason's been working overtime to buy more Doge. All eyes on Doge. Hope it does. I want to see it back up there. Around town. All-time high is cool, I guess, if you own a Bitcoin. Everything else is just hanging out. You took some profits. Are you buying back in, or you're just good with it? What's with the big dips? That's life right now. We got volatility, a lot of movements up and down. Down below 20 cents, Christian? I don't see that right now. Who owns Bitcoin Cash? Nobody talks about Bitcoin Cash. Nobody's talking about that. Bitcoin Cash. Hey, Danny. I come in here and everyone's complaining about dips. Buy the dips. Yes, to the rings, Monica. Good luck. Get those 3 rings. Christian in a swing trade. Sell 23.29, buy back at 22.39. My swing trade is still open. Here's my sell up here at 23.33. I did not buy back in at 22.33. Didn't buy back in yet. Looks like Bitcoin will fall, but rise again in the long run, Andreas. Petruchio, not really a trader, typically buy and hold. Do you believe it's okay to buy Doge and hold till $1? So This is where my thinking was in 2021. Dogecoin went up to 73 cents. I didn't sell any. So I ended up round tripping it to this cycle. And then finally took profits in December and January. Not at 73 cents though, because Doge didn't get back up there. But my mind back in 2021 was Doge is going to $1. I'm not selling. And you see what happened. Ended up not making any profits in 2021 because I didn't sell. So all that work that I did back then, and I didn't enjoy any of it. And then the next thing you knew, you had Terra Luna collapse, you had Celsius, Voyager, and then FTX collapse, and that was the bear market, and Doge was all the way back down to 6 cents. That's what happened. So if you get that idea on your mind of holding till $1, and we talked about this all last fall about taking profits and different strategies on profit taking, and we will talk about that again once Doge moves up, and it's called about layering out and just taking like a 10%, right? Just sell 10% when it gets to like 40 cents or 50 cents, or have some other number besides $1 to just take a little bit of profit. The rest of the Doge your Doge is still in the game in case it keeps going higher, but at least you've taken a little bit. So we'll take care of that. Sorry, I didn't see that guy, but he's now gone. Booted to Never Never Land. Probably a repeat offender. The Dogeverse. Will, did you really get 1096? Wow. So there is a rotation from Bitcoin into an alt. Good luck with that, Cardano. Yeah, I don't know how HBAR has long-term utility. I don't see Hedera becoming a huge thing. I really don't. I traded it. I made some profit on it this bull cycle, sold it in January. Done. Moving on. When alts, exactly. When alts. I think we'll probably do okay through the summer, but it's probably going to be the fall. That'd be my guess when we see a big alt run. Max thinks once Bitcoin dominance hits 71%, how about 69? Just say 69. And that's going to be the key, 69%. Charles took some profit on the whiff. Got some Doge. Sell all your shoes and buy socks. Yep, Matt, don't swing trade, don't leverage trade, keep things simple. And I've been that most of the time, but today's setup to me was time to try a swing trade. And it's not all my Doge. I'm not swing trading all my Doge. It's just a small percentage of my overall Dogecoin bag that I sold. I didn't anticipate the higher run up earlier. I sold on this first run up when Bitcoin hit a new all-time high. I was like, yeah, now's the time. So I was close. I know Doug, right? Got to clean that mudang off my boots. Yep, exactly. But hey, you've heard me talking this week about, another big dip coming to buy. Bitcoin decided to go on a run today instead of dropping like the stock market was. So, of course, Doge and other alts followed Bitcoin. But now that that's happened, we could see Bitcoin wander down to 105, maybe 104, and that might be a good dip buying opportunity for Doge and some alts. Thank you, Susan. We're getting close. We're getting close on the channel. We're having fun. Matt's average is 12 cents. Your average for Bitcoin is 21K. Those are good prices, Matt. Those are good averages to have, especially that Bitcoin one at 21K. At the time, you were probably thinking, God, $21,000? And now look at it. Frank, I don't think Doge on base is the actual Dogecoin. I think it's a wrapped Doge or some other thing, but it's not the real Dogecoin. So I'd be careful about that. Bitcoin has hit all-time high in a number of other currencies, but there's some that it hasn't hit all-time highs yet. Well, somebody pointed out the euro, for instance. Bitcoin hasn't hit an all-time high against the euro yet. But most people are looking at US dollar prices for cryptocurrencies, how they're trading in the US, because there's such a major percentage of all the trades that happen in the US. So the US dollar is what is typically used to judge the value of cryptocurrencies. Safe moon. Yeah, Max. Ramon, are you betting it? Are you betting the Knicks tonight? Are you getting points? I don't know what the spread is. Pacers looked awfully good. Yeah. That Mudane guy got booted. Yeah, 42,069, Ryan, huh? Just a number. Just a number. And people were giving me crap about that. Do you remember? Back in late November, people were giving me crap about that. And I'm just like, look, you put a plan out there and you're like, I don't know. If I kept buying the dips, I would own Dogecoin. No more dips. Swing trade 20,000 Doge. It's just touching over 23 cents here. I sold at 23.3 right here. 23.3. Sell all your shorts. Buy pants. Especially here in Boston today. It's freaking cold out there. Tomorrow, the high is supposed to be like 45. The high temperature in Boston is going to be 45 tomorrow. I got to turn the heat back on in the house. So yeah, definitely pants. It's cold. I'm going to Vegas next week, though. It's going to be hot in Vegas. So not wearing pants in Vegas. Well, I'll wear pants to the conference because inside they just blast you with the air conditioning. But when I go outside, it's going to be shorts. That'll be nice. So that's next week. Yes, KrissPax is attending the Bitcoin conference. All the Bitcoin maxis are all-time high Bitcoin. Woohoo! I'm going to be like, golf clap. Congratulations. Nice. Golf clap. Sell your soul and buy XRP. Don't blame Kriss. Profit is profit. True, Top G. And I haven't sold my Bitcoin. Nope. And I said that. I was going to sell all my other alts first. And then I was going to sell as much Dogecoin as I needed to close on the house. And I was going to keep the rest of the Dogecoin. I was going to keep my Bitcoin. I was going to keep the stupid Trump collectibles in my peak. And then I had a few other odds and ends. But you're right. My store of value, Bitcoin. I have a nice portfolio, taking a bit off the table, literally you don't feel it. Gets boring sitting on your hands, scalping keeps me busy. Yeah. No all-time high for the Canadian dollar either. Ryan betting the Knicks tonight? Well, now I got to see what the odds are, right? Knicks versus Pacers odds. Odds. Give me the odds. Where's the AI? The AI did not come up. Done. The overall AI says New York Knicks are favored to win the series against the Pacers. Wow. Odds for game one. Let's do that. Why can't it just tell me? Knicks minus 4.5. There it is, 4.5 points. 4.5 points. I would take the Pacers with the points for tonight. 4.5 points. I'll take the Pacers with the points. All right, but what do I know? I'm not betting. I just get to pick. Someone has finally asked the heat map. All right, Danny, I was waiting for someone to say, hey, what about that heat map? And here we go. Let's see what the heat map looks like now. At 5 o'clock, an hour in. Oh, look at those juicy shorts up here. Who was it that just put a short in on Bitcoin? 110. There's some new juicy shorts up here at 110. There's a nice big $112 million at 106.9 though, on a leveraged long. Look at that new leveraged long right there at $112 million, 106.9. Look at all these. I mean, Bitcoin price dumped earlier, and look at all that leverage that got taken out. That was all new leverage made around noon today. Got wiped out. But here's another one, 106.9. There's some big ones down here, 105.7, 105.6. That's what the heat map shows. How about Doge? Some shorts and longs, 23.3 and 23.4 is a couple big short positions. And then the longs, liquidation price 22.5 and 22.4. And there's some big leveraged longs on Doge. They're not that far away on either side. Interesting. Ryan, you want to bet 20 Dogecoin? Okay, you're on. 20 Doge. All right, I take Pacers plus 4.5 for 20 Doge against Ryan. All right, there it is. It's in writing. There it is, Ryan. You accept, right? 4.5. 81 degrees in Silicon Valley. It's like half that here in Boston. It's so cold. Buy some Doge miners to heat your house. There you go. Yes. Agreed, Ryan. All right. James is a witness. We got it. Doge miners to heat your house. Bitcoin conference is where KrissPax is going to be next week. Hanging out with all the Bitcoin maxis. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Bad day for you, Ryan. Small investor. Will have to be cashing out at the worst of times. Got to buy a car for the girl. Sorry to hear about the accident there, Ryan. Oh. Well, if you have some Bitcoin, you're selling near an all-time high. Doge, we're just in the middle of things. I get it, though. Life happens. Well, good luck. Good luck with that. All right, Byron's in the swing. Halfway in, 10,000 Doge at $22.95. You're in your swing. Me too. I'm in my swing. At what price do you plan to sell your Bitcoin? I have no price target for Bitcoin. I just hold it. In the future, we'll just figure it out. But I do not have a plan. If the exchanges are the same size, would there be less market manipulation? The exchanges are the same size. Yeah, I don't know if that really makes a difference. I mean, even some of the smaller exchanges, if there are big leverage trades, they can call up the market makers of the bigger ones and say, help me out here. I'll bet that goes on to take out those big leverage trades. I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised. MyDoge. 10-cent Doge stable is ideal if it's used to exchange of goods, but $1 could be nice. Yeah, let's talk about $1, not 10 cents. I think 10 cents, Doge would not be stable. Don't do it, Ryan. It's a trap. Neo wants to make a Dogecoin bet. What's your bet, Ryan? Or Neo? What's your bet? Oh, but Danny, you didn't see what happened. Ryan was driving his girlfriend's car and crashed it. So that's only right. What he's doing. It's only right. What else is going on? Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still holding up very well in the 108s. Oh, you didn't crash it? I thought that's what you said, Ryan. Did I not read that right? Crashed hers and needs one. Oh, she crashed it. Okay. I read that as meaning that you crashed it. Okay, you're helping her out. No, that was me. You said crashed it, and I just, in my mind, you saying crashed it, I interpreted that as you were driving and you crashed it. But I get it. Well, good luck with all of that, Ryan. Good luck. So what's been moving today? Well, it's with Monero. Tom Crown was showing Monero trading today. It's up 10%. BitTensor, Fetch, Stacks is up. Stacks following Bitcoin. Even the fart coin and the pudgy penguins are up. And what's down today? EOS, KuCoin, Aave, Story, Celestia, Pendle, Mantle. Nothing really big. But that's what we see going on. We got the Trump token at $14.27. It did hit $15, but it's pulled back since then. But it was up here, $15, right around the noontime today. And I was like, let's go to 16, come on, so I can be out of this stupid collectible. Nope. Didn't happen. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. Yeah, just start buying back in on the dips when you can, Ron. It's over the summer, dips are going to happen. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'll be doing, is buying in on the dips. Now you could blame her for being out of the market when Doge hits $1. Oh, yep. We had some other coins moving. My Litecoin was kind of up and down, actually hit $98, dropped down to 94, now back up to 96. So, I mean, that's reasonable. Litecoin, of course, trying to get back over $100 for Litecoin. And Cardano, which our friend bought into after selling Bitcoin right near the all-time high. Probably bought in about 75 cents, now up to 76. Yeah, it'll be back up to $1. Despite the stupid things Charles Hoskinson says, Cardano will still trade well. Solana's been not doing great, $1.07 or 170, but people are just, I think less people are involved in that pump.fun crap now, since the truth has come out about the bigger tokens that are on there and what the devs are doing and the insiders and all of that. Just, ugh. You missed the swing trade you're going to do at 25 cents. I know it's late at night, right? I remember that. Yeah, it was the middle of the night on Monday, May 12th. That was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I slept through that. So I'm doing a little bit of a slice here of a swing trade is what I'm doing. .02 at 16,900. The KrissPax DCA portfolio, this portfolio here, now at about $32,000, except for the Dogecoin I gave away. But if it was all still in there, it would be $32,000 from an initial $10,000 purchased. And that was real money. This isn't a fake portfolio for those that don't know. This is real. Still own all of this except for the Doge. The Bitcoin was 0.036. 0.036 Bitcoin. And the average buy price was 26,900. So it's up 300%. Not too bad. So that was about $1,000 worth of Bitcoin at the time. Now it's up to almost $4,000. But I'm just holding it. See what happens. See what happens. Yeah, it was late. I know. That would have been a good swing there. 25 cents. Drinking wine, watching crypto is the new way to go to bed. Exactly. Yeah, I'd been out. Oh. Joshua, that'd be a nice story, but it ain't happening. It's not Elon. No, it's some guy who recently sold a business back in February for a lot of money. It was a fintech business, and he's just waiting for his non-compete to run out before he's back in the fintech world. That's what's going on. So we wait. But if it is who I think it is, and I did a little research on this, it's not like a big celebrity and not a name you've heard, but you look into what he's done and it's like, yeah, that's a pretty good guy. He's into it. But he made a lot of money selling his prior business. Hey, Fisher, what's up? Welcome. We're on all-time high watch number 2 here. Is Bitcoin going to come back up to 109,800? Challenge the all-time high that it hit during the noon hour earlier today? Or are we going to see a dip? That's still on the table. Megal is down to $1.31 after market. It just had a 1,000 share trade after market for $1.31. Almost time for me to start buying Megal stock on that swing trade. Just having fun with it. Win $5 Doge. You got to go talk to Trader Allen and Ali, our good friends, and they'll tell you. You got to go chat with them. Yeah, busy day at work. I know Bitcoin hitting a new all-time high. It's kind of a big deal. I kind of thought it would, once it went on the second run up higher, I thought, okay, at least 110, 112, but it didn't. Totally rejected. Yep, still waiting for under $1.30. So the 125 to 129 range. Yes, Allen and Ali probably don't have Snoopies. That is true. That is true. Doge is just fighting it right under 23 cents right now. Your limit order is for 1,000 Megal at $1.28. That might hit. We'll see if there's some weakness there. But if somebody does a sell, you'd be next in line at $1.28. Most likely. I don't know if anybody's selling at $1.28 though. Yet. But that'll come. Armando, I need money. Yep. We all could use a little more. Yeah. Alan and Ali don't have a Pax cat either. Fortunate for them, unfortunate for me. No. The cat is a lot of fun. Joseph, when it gets moving, it's over a number of days. It's not just a one-day thing for a bull run. If it's just a quick spike for something, then it'll just come right back down. To a peak, well, from here, that would take a lot longer. So be patient. Go over time. Diamond hands. I did not have diamond hands today. I sold some Doge. I'm in a swing trade now. Not all my Doge, just part of it. But I am in a swing trade now. Just the setup was there for me to do a little swing trade. Just collect a little more Doge off of Robinhood. It's all within Robinhood. I mean, it's just a transfer of Doge from their wallet to my so-called wallet, right? That's all it is. I know, they don't get gift baskets. I'm wondering, hey, where's my next gift basket? I want another one. Can't that be a daily thing? Just keep getting gift baskets. If Doge goes up this fall, will you sell some? Probably. I'll probably take some profits. Not going to sell all my Doge, but I would probably take profits, yes. I don't know what a tambourine token is, Oz. Never heard of it. I know, right? You'd think Doge would be about 40 cents now with Bitcoin hitting a new all-time high. But it's the boring times when you least expect it that Doge can go on a run, which is why on this swing trade, it wasn't a huge amount of Doge. It was just part of my portfolio. Just in case that happens. But if it gets down to like just below 22, maybe 21.9, I will buy back in. And then I'll have either buy the difference in a little extra Doge, or it's cash for Vegas next week. Maybe play a few games or something while I'm out there. I don't know. I used to live out there, so I've played all those games. So two jurors over leveraged with HELOC. Ugh. Yeah, the leverage trading. That's tough. That is tough. One of the things that was talked about today was short sellers. Today was the short sellers on Doge that got hit harder than the longs, and same with Bitcoin. So as Doge went up more than 3%, the gain may not seem dramatic, but it had a noticeable effect on traders, particularly those who had been betting against the coin. That's right. As Doge price edged higher, many short traders were forced to close their positions, leading to a wave of liquidations. The shift ended up causing a 200% liquidation imbalance in the market, mainly affecting those holding short positions on Dogecoin. So there were a lot of shorts there thinking Doge was dropping lower, and instead it followed Bitcoin up and actually outperformed Bitcoin, took out a bunch of shorts. In an hour, short traders lost $740,000 on Doge with only $18 on the long side. Some little leverage thing. So that was a lot. That was a lot. Oh, and there's Ali's chart here again, that when he flip-flopped from the day before, because the day before he said Doge was going to go down, and then yesterday he said, no, break above 23.9, it could open the door for a move toward 26.5. So Ali switched. World of Charts observed Dogecoin may have formed a bull flag pattern. Huh, really? A bull flag pattern? You mean like that? You mean the bull flag that I've been showing on my charts for a long time? Yeah, that bull flag. Yeah. Trying to break out. Doge is trying to break out of the bull flag. And this guy's just getting to it. Javon Marks linked Dogecoin's past bull market cycles to current setup. He noted that based on how Dogecoin behaved in the past, it could increase by at least 215% to reach a price of 73 cents, its previous all-time high. While these views do not guarantee results, they reflect how the mood around Dogecoin is beginning to shift. Recent increase in active addresses coupled with lighter liquidation on long trades, increasing pressure on shorts, add some weight to the possibility of further upward movement. So, but a lot of the sentiment I hear is still kind of or Doge is dropping. It's a lot more negative, which is surprising as Bitcoin hits an all-time high, that the sentiment around Doge is kind of as negative as it is. But with that, I started a swing trade. So you've been trolling with the PaxCat token suggestions. Oh yeah, I remember now. That's right. The cat's actually making meme tokens. Can you determine, or can you explain how Robinhood determines which of our Doge it sells off when you take profit? It is first in, first out. That is correct. First in, first out. Automatically. So if you're following along on your spreadsheet, that's the same thing you would do. So when I made my first sale of Doge back in November at 42 cents, that came off of the 2-cent Doge, which I had been holding since end of January 2021. So my profit, and that was a 2024 capital gains profit, but it was a long term because it was from back in 2021. My capital gains ended up on that 1099 form that they sent showing that profit from 2 cents to 42 cents. Doge been lagging, Batman? Yeah, it has. There's no doubt. An ETF deadline, October, and we talked about that earlier, and that was on which was the one on the ETFs. It's one of these. I must have closed that window. Oh, is this one right here? Yeah, James Seyfert is saying the same thing. It'll probably go into October. It'll take the whole time. So it's not a delay. There's nothing being delayed. It's just, it is what it is on the ETFs. So yes, we have to be patient. You didn't have a spreadsheet before started watching. Use the buy-sell history to try to catch up. My math is off. Average isn't the same as what Robinhood shows. Yeah, I don't know why it would be different unless you did some sales along the way. Did you do some trades along the way where you bought and sold? Because that might affect it and how they calculate it. It shouldn't, but I can't deal with that guy today. Just can't deal with that guy today. You took some profit after the election run. Yeah, so there's something on the way that Robinhood is calculating it versus the way that you're calculating it from that profit. That's probably where the difference is. Charlotte? A little late, but better late than never. We've been going on for an hour and a half already. But you're here. Congrats on the Doge list. It's a blessing that Doge has been held down. See, others say, no, Doge should be already 40 cents. But it's a blessing for those that want to buy. You don't think they're ever going to approve an ETF for Doge? Why? It's a proof of work cryptocurrency, same as Bitcoin. I know. You're late. How dare you? Congrats. Yep. It's not off by much. Big difference between 24 cents and 21 cents, but it's all good. It is what it is. Yep. And you're going to get the 1099 from Robinhood anyway. They're going to calculate it how they calculate it. So yeah, Charlotte, we were just looking at earlier while you were working. Bitcoin hit an all-time high, new all-time high, 109,800. And then there was a big sell-off, but it didn't keep going down. So Bitcoin came back up and it's now trading at 108. Doge followed. Doge traded up to 23.8 and then dumped 22.2 before coming up, and now just below 23 cents. So that's what's going on there. Any update on GX? I don't know what you're asking there. GX. All is well, DB. I also worked today. I took a break at lunch, though, to watch a little Tom Crown as we were watching Bitcoin hit an all-time high, which was fun. It was fun. You're welcome, Charlotte. And the other thing we talked about is is there going to be a rotation from Bitcoin to alts? Is retail just going to wake up one day and start buying alts? because we know the banks and the institutions and the big companies aren't going to be selling their Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin maintains, is there going to be an alt season? Is there going to be Bitcoin dominance going down? Are we going to have that big run on alts or not? Some people think that's still coming. Rudy, I do not believe a thing that Brad Garlinghouse says. So I say no, Ripple's not going to get Circle. No. I think Coinbase is going to get Circle, is what I think. I don't believe anything Brad Garlinghouse says. The Golden Cross, that is tomorrow. So it's on Bitcoin. And you look at the daily chart. This was the death cross that we had back here, and that was on April 6th. Bitcoin was at a price of 78K. Bitcoin's gone up like 35% since the death cross. And so now here's the golden cross about to happen tomorrow, when the 50-day moving average, the blue line, will cross above the white 200-day moving average. And it looks like that's going to happen tomorrow. So that is coming. I also have on this chart a line here at 103.8 where there would be a 10,000 Bitcoin liquidation, huge trade that's going on right now. I don't know if the guy's going to start closing some of this position or not. There's some people on X that are following this guy in his wallet, his trade, and seeing what's going on. But I just put that line on there mostly just to show like where Bitcoin would need to drop to liquidate that position. So there's kind of a target there, 103.8. But I don't know if that's happening. I can't believe they'd let the guy like make that much, but he's doing it on Hyperliquid. He's not doing it on Binance or OKX or one of those big exchanges. So I don't know if there's a lot market makers for Hyperliquid or not. So, but anyway, the line's on here just for reference, and we'll see what happens if there's a dip. That was kind of the reason why, well, part of the reason I was going to try this swing trade on Dogecoin was because of that, thinking the market makers are they're going to target that huge long leverage position, but then found out it was on Hyperliquid, and it was just like, I don't know. So there's that. I bought Popcat because I love cats. Popcat. Did Ripple outbid Coinbase? Not that I've heard. Brad Garlinghouse made some statement earlier, and I just don't believe him. I don't trust him. So now, if Ripple did do that, guess how they would get the money to pay? They'd mint themselves some XRP tokens and sell them, right? Is what they would do. Because they can. And there's nobody watching that. Ripple Circle. Let's see what the latest is on X. Breaking. Ripple has outbid Coinbase 20 hours ago. An official announcement from Brad Garlinghouse. Rumor. Ripple has secretly acquired Circle. I don't know. I won't believe it until it happens. No, these people are saying it though. Ripple is bidding $11 billion in XRP. There it is right there. They're going to mint themselves a bunch of XRP is what they're going to do. Ryan Adams says, can you please just not sell to Ripple? Everything is going great right now. Exactly. Wow. Well, we'll see whether that's true or not. I thought it was going to be Coinbase. Huh. Circle selling to Ripple would be the saddest thing to happen to this industry. There's a lot of people who do not like XRP, me included. Wow. What if Ripple withdrew their bid for Circle to trap Coinbase? Oh, God. People just making stuff up. We'll see. We'll see. You have friends flying to Boston. They offered to collect Pax Cat. Oh, my God. I know, right, Ryan, right? They just mint themselves some more XRP tokens. That's what they do. Please, not going to work. Not going to work. Oh, not the cat, but you want the 8-ball. The 8-ball is right. More times than not, the 8-ball is right. Yeah. It can just mint $1 billion XRP. No problem. That's what it can do. And guess who pays? All the XRP holders when the price starts going down. Although there'll be some FOMO, some bunch of people buying XRP thinking that this is really bullish for them. But most don't look under the hood, do their research, see what's actually going on. No, Charlotte, I'm not leaving that up to the Magic 8-ball, because the Magic 8-ball is known to make some mistakes. Not doing that. This Magic 8-ball is limited to crypto questions. Oh, that's funny. We need to mint more Pax Cats. It is so cold here in Boston. Wow. $100 already in May. No, that's a stupid question, Eldegardo. Don't ask dumb questions, please. You can do better than that. More Pax cats. 12 shares of UNH. What is UNH doing? This thing has just been crazy, huh? So it was down 5% today. After market, it's already down another 4%. Why is it dropping? It's down to 289 now. HSBC downgraded its rating and cut its price target. Concerns arose from reports of delayed hospital transfers and the resignation of CEO Andrew Whitty. Good luck with that. UNH. Let's say you got it at 290. It did drop last week down to like 266. But yeah, it's been dropping since 600. Good luck. Is that going to recover from that? That's a pretty big drop. But hey, right? It's worth a risk. Worth a risk. 291. That was close. Yep. Well, we'll see how this does. Good luck. Doge still hanging out at 23 cents. Still hanging out. I'm not the person to ask about bonds. You can just ask Grok, right? Just go on to X and ask Grok what a bond is. Ask him to be crude and you'll get a funny answer. The wife thinks similarly. She wants something, turns to me like, can you just print more money? Exactly. Just print more money. I mean, Brad Carlinghouse can do it. Or ask Zach. Exactly. Buy bonds. Bonds. 18, 19 cents. That's a big dip. The only way Doge would go down there is if there was a huge drop in Bitcoin's price. Like if Bitcoin went down to 90K from 108, then yeah, we could see Doge at those prices. But I don't think Bitcoin's going to have anything to make it drop that much. So not right now. I mean, who knows what's going to happen after the bull runs over? We're going to have a big bear market in 2026. Maybe then. Back over 23 cents. Bitcoin creeping up. It's at 108,590 now. The volume's really low, though. There's like almost no volume. And the price is creeping up. That's weird. There's like no volume here. No volume. So we could get one of these big red candles like really easily. No volume. A bond is what we've created with Kriss. Aw. The whiteboard of dumb comments. Well, is Doge dead? That's the number one. Is Doge dead? It's like, have you seen the top 10 cryptos and Doge is still the 8th largest cryptocurrency? It's kind of hard to be the 8th largest cryptocurrency and be dead at the same time. Kind of hard to do that. If you've been paying attention, I believed in you. I remember that one. Yeah, mark my words. Buy bonds. Yep. Those are all big winners. Yep. I believed in you. Yeah. Hey, Killjoy. I hold XRP, but I hate XRP. The hatred is ridiculous. I know. I have some too. In the KrissPax DCA portfolio, I was talked into buying this because we were buying these cryptos during live streams, and I was taking suggestions from the chat on what to buy because it didn't matter. It was the bottom of the bear market, and I was just like proving a point. It doesn't matter what you buy, you're going to make money. And here's our XRP. We bought it 58 cents. 58 cents. And it's up 300%. It's just like, it didn't matter what you bought. Jasmine up 390%. Bitcoin up 300%. Doge up 271%. It was just all like, that was the time to buy. People wonder, how did I make $2 million in crypto? And it's just like, you buy at the bottom of the bear market, you can get pretty sizable returns. Do you think we're going to dump before a big pump in June or go sideways? I think it's going to be sideways with some dips. Ali, to be honest with you, we might see some little runs, but I don't think they're going to last very long. That's what I think. That's the what next thing. And what about Doge? Place a limit order to buy Doge at 21 cents. Yeah, I'm thinking like 21.9 for my swing trade. I'm thinking 21.9. That's my target. It's just below this line, right where Doge was here on Tuesday afternoon. Get your note out of the way here, right there. I think Doge is going to revisit that. And then my swing trade where I just sold up here, buy back down there. That'll be sweet. So that's what I'm targeting. Is Doge going to go back to 21.9? I don't know, but that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. Doge is not going down to 18 cents. If you get lucky, maybe 20. Yeah, I can't wait for it to be the bottom of the bear market again. Can go ape. I know. I was there. I was ready. I was buying. You know, there's these sayings like it's time in the market is better than timing the market. But in crypto, you don't buy Bitcoin at 109,000 at an all-time high, right? You just... Now, if you bought at 109 and you waited for 4 years, then that'll probably look like a good purchase. But I didn't have 4 years. I was on a 2-year plan. So end of 2022, I bought. I'm going to make a video about that on Saturday. Saturday, I'm going to explain all of that in a video coming up. Hey, Luca. Nice pump today. Will Bitcoin get to 110? Right now, it's just kind of 1084. Just kind of hanging out. 110 up here. We'll see. Can I have some Dogecoin, Kriss? I remember that one too. It's not that easy. No. What's up, Steven? Stop losses? See, I would do stop losses if I was leverage trading, short or long, but I wouldn't. If you have a limit order, does that money still collect interest with gold? No, it doesn't. Because it takes it out of the buying power. And the gold is just attached to buying power. So, yeah, if you've got that sitting in a limit order, you're not making interest on it. It should. Yes, I agree. It should. But that's not how they do it. As soon as you make that limit order, it comes out of your buying power. If you say it like that, then who does an all-time high Bitcoin appeal to? Those with FOMO. The FOMO crowd. They see the green candles and they buy to get in on the action, and they end up buying the top. So yeah. I was away for work when the member Doge giveaway happened. Yep. Still going on. I still get emails. I'm just like, and I've gotten 2 from people that I already sent Doge to. And one of them was from a different email address with a different Doge wallet. And I'm just like, no, dude, no, not doing it. Not doing it. That's what you thought. Is that a top 5 rule? I mean, I just don't use stop losses. And I don't trade with leverage, so I don't use stop losses. If you're not using leverage, you don't have as much risk involved. Why would you trade with a stop loss? Do you have conviction on what you bought? What about Trump coin? I think the time to buy would be after the dinner. So the dinner is Thursday night. So maybe Friday, the price goes lower. I don't know. I would actually like Trump to pump up over $16 so I can finally sell it. Luca, you think Bitcoin's going to go up to 120K? It's showing strength right now with low volume. It's hanging out here at 108.5. It's not dropping. We'll see what happens after 8 o'clock tonight. That's when the Asian market takes over at 8 o'clock tonight. So that's 2 hours from now. What's going to happen? Well, and many nights we've seen right at that time, all of a sudden there's a big red candle. How confident are you that Doge will hit $1 or more? Not. Not confident. I'm just saying if the certain catalysts happen, Doge could do that. They need the catalyst, though. Those things have to happen. If Elon does something with Dogecoin on X, that's a catalyst. If Tesla accepts Dogecoin as payment for a car, that's a catalyst. Those are the types of things that could get Doge moving up, FOMO hitting, big green candles. Let's go. That's a great question, Craig. Now that Bitcoin has reached the all-time high, will buyers now start to buy Doge? I still think Doge has still not got the attention enough, and buyers will only start to buy Doge when the price is going up, and that's when FOMO kicks in. What gets that to start, I think, is going to be some bit of news or something that's going to get Doge to go. People are going to be watching the Indianapolis 500, and they're going to see a Dogecoin themed car. It'd be funny if it was talked about or had a close-up or something. That'd be cool. Does that get people to buy Dogecoin, though? Probably not. So I don't know. Yep, usually the Asian market dumps it. But I love my Asian people. Exactly. I feel the same. But we have seen that right at 8 o'clock. All of a sudden, you get these nice green candles, and then you get the red one, and down it goes. And we could see that. So we'll see. Everybody look at in 2 hours what's going to be happening. Yeah, and Bitcoin dominance going down, alt season, Doge. But it's going to be Doge that I think that's going to lead the real alt season. Until then, there's no alt season. ETH isn't going to do it by itself. All right, gang, that's what we've got now. Hey, we'll look and see what happens. We're right under 23 cents now. Be live again tomorrow, 4 o'clock p.m. East Coast time. Do another live. We'll check in on how things happened overnight and tomorrow, and we will see where things will go from there. Until then, I hope everybody has a great night, and we'll see you next time.
Dogecoin, which started as a complete joke, has like skyrocketed to not a joke anymore. It hit an all-time high of almost 10 cents yesterday, but it was so minuscule you wouldn't have understood why you have millions of shares.
Didn't Elon tweet that too?
And arguably, the most entertaining outcome and the most ironic outcome would be that Dogecoin becomes the currency of Earth in the future.